Hi, I'm Realtor Scott Tompkins, and welcome to Real Estate Unboxed, fresh tips for home buyers. Today's topic, inspections and repairs. Every buyer I've ever worked with has had questions on this important subject, so let's get into it. As I mentioned in my previous video, you got the house, now what? Scheduling inspections is one of the first things we do immediately after you and the seller are under contract. I can provide inspector names and can schedule inspections for you. You do have the option to waive inspections, and I have heard stories of agents pressuring their clients to do this, saying that their offer won't be accepted with an inspection contingency. Listen closely. It is your right to conduct whatever inspections are important to you, period. For me personally, if a listing agent told me I had to waive inspections to get the house, this would be a major red flag, and I might pass on the house. For buyers, waiving inspections is extremely risky. If you tell me you want to waive inspections, I will tell you in writing that that's a bad idea. Also, many sellers think that it's better for them if the buyer waives inspections. This is not true. Sellers are actually better protected if buyers have the opportunity to conduct inspections. In a super competitive multiple offer situation, opting for a pass-fail inspection is a much safer option. With a pass-fail inspection, you may still do whatever inspections you wish, but you are telling the sellers upfront that you are using inspections for information purposes only, and that you will not ask them to make any repairs. This is appealing to the sellers and will make your offer stronger. If there is something seriously wrong with the house, you have the option to cancel the contract and get your earnest money back. Our contract defaults to 10 days to conduct your inspections, but I generally counsel buyers to reduce this to 5 days, because that's actually plenty of time for inspections, and it also makes your offer stronger. What inspections should you get? Most of my buyers elect to have a general home inspection, and I always recommend a sewer scope inspection for homes connected to city sewer. Make sure you watch my companion video on sewer scope inspections. It's eye-opening. It is your prerogative to have other inspections as well, but if the home inspector recommends further evaluation by a specialist, you will have additional time for those inspections, so you can wait until after the home inspection to decide if you want to bring a specialist out. This commonly happens when the home inspector has specific concerns about the plumbing, electrical, roof, or HVAC system. Home inspectors check the home from the roof to the crawl space, but there are limits to what they inspect. For example, they are not going to move the seller's furniture. Your contract with the home inspection company will explain what they do and do not inspect. Home inspectors are always going to find things wrong with any house, even new construction homes. I encourage you to be there with me for inspections. The home inspector will go over his findings with you either in person or on the phone. Remember, it's very likely that the sellers are listening, so it's a very good idea to have this conversation outside. And definitely do not say something like, let's see if we can get the sellers to replace the roof, but if they won't do it, it's no big deal. Do not let the sellers hear you say that. Also, you might want to ask the home inspector, would you buy this house? Listen to what she says and watch her body language as she says it. After hearing the inspector's findings, you'll have a pretty good idea of the home's condition. What happens next? Your options are to move forward without any repairs, cancel the contract and get your earnest money back, or ask the seller to make repairs or give you money in the form of a price adjustment or closing cost assistance. In my experience, the best repair negotiations are when both buyer and seller are reasonable and willing to work together toward a mutually agreeable solution. As you decide what repairs to request, you should factor in the age of the home. If you're buying a 40-year-old home, there are going to be some cosmetic blemishes. If you want brand new, you might want to buy new construction. Understand that the sellers cannot cancel the contract because of the repairs you ask for, but they're more likely to agree to them if you're being reasonable. I will tell you that a detailed 2-page list of requests like install $2 outlet covers, things that are cheap and you can easily do yourself, are usually a turnoff to the seller. I'll guide you on your repair requests, but a good mindset is usually to focus on what's truly important, such as structural and safety-related items. My goal is always to make it easy for the sellers to say yes to your requests. Here's a pro tip. Try to put yourself in the seller's shoes. If you ask the sellers to fix the fence, that means they have to find a contractor or handyman and schedule the repair all while they're trying to pack. A better option might be to ask for a $3,000 credit and say you will be responsible for the repair after closing. You make it easy for the sellers to say yes, and you can better control the quality of the work. How will you know if the repairs were done correctly? After the sellers make repairs, you can pay for the home inspector to re-inspect the item to make sure the work was completed properly. I can also ask for receipts for the work done. I hope this makes you feel more comfortable with how inspections and repairs work, and don't worry, I'll be there to guide you every step of the way. Just remember, focusing on the important repairs and being reasonable will maximize your chances of the sellers saying yes to your requests. Be sure to check out my next video, Should I Get a Sewer Scope Inspection? Thanks for watching, and happy house hunting!